Inside Tokyo's Ariake Arena, a storm was forming, and its name was Naoya Inoue. The Japanese powerhouse stepped into the ring carrying a nation's expectations, and facing a man who believed he couldn't lose. Across from him stood Philadelphia's own Stephen "Coolboy" Fulton, confident, calm, and certain of one thing: I'm gonna wipe him out, clean. He's too small, too short. But what happened next shocked everyone. Inoue versus Fulton. After dominating the bantamweight division with ruthless intent, Naoya Inoue rose through the ranks like a machine built for destruction. Knockout after knockout, he cleaned out everyone in front of him. Then he moved up to super bantamweight, stepping into a division ruled by its undefeated king, Stephen "Coolboy" Fulton. For the first time in Inoue's career, the narrative shifted. Many believed he was finally outmatched. Fulton's going to be too much for him, too big, too strong. He might even stop Inoue late, analysts argued. Others echoed the same belief. Skill plus size would be the formula that finally ended Inoue's reign of terror. As fight week arrived, the tension was electric. During the face-off, Fulton stared deep into Inoue's eyes, whispered something under his breath, and security had to separate them. It was clear, this wasn't just a fight, this was a challenge to Inoue's entire aura. When the bell rang, Fulton held his ground early, refusing to give up space. But Inoue quickly snapped him back to reality with razor-sharp punches that forced the American to rethink his confidence. Inoue missed Fulton's chin by inches at times, but every shot carried danger. Fulton soon went into survival mode, moving constantly, but Inoue didn't give him a moment to breathe. He stepped in with explosive combinations, slipping and weaving like he was operating inside his own version of the Matrix. The power difference was unmistakable. Fulton had never faced anything like this. By the third round, Fulton tried pushing forward, determined not to look like a mere target, but Inoue's counters punished every attempt. The fight became a high-level chess match, yet the gap in class grew clearer with each exchange. Inoue was landing cleanly, while Fulton's punches looked like they were passing through fog. Fulton retreated to the ropes, relying on movement, but Inoue stalked him with cold precision. By the fifth round, he had completely figured him out. The destructive shots began flowing in combinations. Explosive right hands launched with frightening speed, followed by a lunging left hook reminiscent of prime Mike Tyson. Fulton tried to prove he wasn't going to crumble, but the momentum was gone. Inoue had downloaded his rhythm, his timing, his reactions, everything. Then the war truly began. Inoue hammered Fulton's body, mixing rhythm with pure violence. A furious late-round flurry signaled what was coming. With added torque, Inoue unleashed a thunderous right hand that sent Fulton stumbling across the ring like he'd seen a monster. Inoue chased him down, cut off the angle, and detonated another shot that dropped Fulton, the first knockdown of his entire career. Fulton rose, but he returned to a nightmare. Inoue cornered him, unleashed a merciless barrage, and forced the referee to step in before long-term damage was done. It was domination. It was precision. It was the monster showing why he is feared worldwide. After the fight, Fulton changed trainers and openly admitted what had beaten him. When asked what Inoue's greatest strength was, he answered simply, his ring IQ. On this night, in his first major fight presented to American audiences, Naoya Inoue delivered a performance so overwhelming, it stunned an entire nation.
Inoue versus Neves. Naoya Inoue stepped into the ring to face Antonio Neves, and the contrast between the two fighters was impossible to ignore. Neves entered representing American pride, his attire painted in red, white, and blue. Across from him stood Inoue, dressed like a medieval executioner, cold, sharp, and ready to deliver punishment. This was Inoue's long-awaited American debut, and he was defending his WBO super flyweight title for the sixth time. From the opening bell, he carefully studied his confident opponent, gathering information before unleashing the firepower he was known for. Neves tried to jab with him, to punch with him, even attempted to time Inoue, but it became immediately clear he was facing a fighter levels above what he was used to. Inoue's classic 1-2 landed with frightening accuracy. Neves tried to respond with body shots, but Inoue blocked them easily, reading every attack like an open book. In the second round, the crowd began to understand why this Japanese star was called the Monster. Inoue turned rhythm into violence, widening his shots and increasing the force behind every punch. A massive right hand crashed through Neves's guard, followed by a crushing left to the ribs. The sound echoed around the arena. Neves did his best to fire back for his hometown crowd.
Lopsided fight, but in the middle of their imagination.
But Inoue ended the round with lightning-fast hooks that made the American look like a worn-out heavy bag from an old gym locker. Early in the third, Inoue shifted into high gear. He launched devastating combinations upstairs and downstairs, showing elite-level precision. His speed, timing, and power were on full display. With every shot, he reminded the American audience why his nickname wasn't an exaggeration. He even adjusted punches mid-air, something only the most gifted fighters in the world can do. A sharp uppercut snapped Neves' head back, and the crowd gasped. By the fifth round, the punishment had caught up. Successive hooks sent Neves crashing to the canvas. It was at this moment he realized every bit of trash talk he had thrown before the fight was now coming back to haunt him. He rose to his feet but had no answer for Inoue's relentless body attacks. Left hooks slammed into his midsection again and again, each one sounding like a baseball bat hitting a tree trunk. Neves protected his head, but his body couldn't escape. The damage was piling up quickly. In the sixth round, Inoue walked him down with the confidence of a man who knew he was in complete control. Neves had no hiding place. Every time he tried to guard, Inoue switched angles and landed another punishing blow. At one point, Inoue even mocked him, inviting him forward, daring him to continue. Neves' corner saw what was coming. After another brutal round of head and body punishment, they made the only responsible decision. They stopped the fight before their fighters suffered irreversible damage. The referee agreed. The beating had gone on long enough. The American learned the hard way that Inoue's reputation wasn't hype, it was earned. Still undefeated, still the WBO super flyweight champion, Naoya the Monster Inoue walked out of the ring more feared than ever. This performance also earned him his first entry into the pound-for-pound rankings, debuting at number 9. And soon, the boxing world would witness another war. On May 4, 2025, inside the T-Mobile Arena, Inoue stepped in against Ramon Dinamita Cardenas, a Mexican-American puncher known for a left hook powerful enough to knock out heavyweights. Cardenas came in with 26 wins, only one close loss, and 14 knockouts. What happened next would go down as one of the most brutal battles of Inoue's career. From the very first round, Inoue targeted his opponent's gray matter with frightening precision.
Inoue versus Cardenas. Naoya Inoue opened the fight by measuring Ramon Dinamita Cardenas with sharp jabs and grazing shots, testing distance and timing. Cardenas, however, wasn't intimidated. He stood his ground, slipping counters and answering back. A few early shots even found their mark, which irritated the monster and made it clear this fight was going to be dangerous. By the end of round 1, Inoue started pressing forward with aggression, abandoning caution and pouring on pressure. He snapped Cardenas' head back with a stiff right hand, but the American refused to fold. Then, almost out of nowhere, Inoue walked into a massive left hook. The punch detonated cleanly, dropping the monster hard and sending shockwaves through the entire T-Mobile Arena. For a moment, the crowd held its breath. Inoue didn't see it coming, but at the count of 7, the monster rose, steady on his feet and made it back to his corner. He survived the scare, but he wasn't the same. He was now wide awake. Entering round 3, Inoue fought with renewed discipline. He kept his distance, landed sharp counters, and used a hit-and-don't-get-hit strategy. But Cardenas wasn't finished. He marched forward with a high guard, loading up on every shot, trying to repeat the left hook miracle. He caught Inoue clean again, stunning him briefly, but this time Inoue didn't panic. He absorbed the power, stepped inside, and fired back with heavy hooks of his own. The two gladiators stood toe-to-toe, trading violent combinations. Cardenas wanted a firefight. Inoue was willing to give him one. By round 4, the monster had fully recovered. His timing returned and he began slipping punches like he was inside the Matrix. He cracked Cardenas with a series of brutal head and body shots, drawing roars from the crowd. Each punch made Cardenas stumble back, but the American kept swinging with pride. The fight quickly turned into a full-scale war. Both men exchanged bombs in the center of the ring. Cardenas landed big shots, but Inoue's punches did far more damage. A few inches difference on some of Inoue's hooks, and the fight might have ended right there. In round 6, the tide fully turned. Inoue hurt Cardenas badly, unloading relentless combinations as he drove him toward the fence. Thunderous right hands smashed through Cardenas' guard, but somehow he stayed buckride, refusing to fall. Even as Inoue threw everything except the kitchen sink, Cardenas continued firing back with a warrior's heart. With seconds remaining in the round, Inoue came inches away from ending the fight, missing a finishing uppercut by a hair. The bell saved Cardenas. Barely. Round 7 began with a killer in front of the American. Inoue pressed in with zero hesitation, launching a shot right hand that nearly ended it. Cardenas answered with huge hooks of his own, but in doing so, he sealed his fate. Opening up against a puncher like Inoue is a
sentence. The monster countered with a savage barrage of right hands, 1, 2, 3, each one cracking through Cardenas' defense until the American collapsed in a heap. A final explosion of punches followed, but the end was now inevitable. Early in round 8, Inoue hunted down his wounded opponent, cornering him and unleashing a precise, destructive flurry. Cardenas had no answer, and the referee stepped in to spare him any more punishment. A war ended, a statement made, and once again, Naoya Inoue proved why he is called the Monster.
Inoue versus Neri.